Maybe I should clarify what I mean.
What do you mean?
No, I mean that 90% of all people suck.
10% of the all population is, I believe, a psychopath? Is
that true?
I can believe it.
Or is it 1%? 10% seems high to me. Maybe it's 1%.
Probably 1%.
We'll have to find a way to have your guys' response there without that actual question. Welcome, horrible people, to the Horrible Opinions podcast. And, who am I? Oh yeah, I'm Kenny.
I'm Jackie Chan.
Hi, Jackie. I've always wanted to put holes in my house, Ryan.
Yeah.
And today, we're talking about...
Whose house?
His house.
His house.
The movie His House. The movie's called His House, and that's what we're talking about today.
2020 horror film, directed by Remy Weeks. Here we go! Get out your hammer, get out your plaster, and don't make any deals with witches.
And don't kidnap any kids.
They never work out. We'll get to that.
Don't do a kidnap.
Well,
What's up,
guys?
We
finally did it.
Hi.
We finally did it. We finally watched one of them real dark, depressing movies, and it wasn't about a creepy, like, Swedish or Norwegian family or something. Like, yeah, it was still European, but
kind of.
It wasn't just creepy Northern European white people. Gotta say, I was still depressed.
Why? I thought it had a very uplifting ending.
I
don't remember how this ended.
Undecided, depending on how you interpret what is actually happening in the ending there.
My interpretation that I'm going to choose to go with is the one where it's all in their head.
And that's not a happy ending, though, then. Cause
No, they overcome it.
I don't think they did, though.
Yeah.
Do we have pre-watch thoughts?
Yeah, look.
It's like pulling teeth.
Okay, look. Hey, okay, look.
Kenny, yeah, tell us your pre-watch. What'd you think, Kenny? Pre-watching this?
Well, this one was too easy. It was a layup. It was, will this be a movie that sparks a crazy theory from one of us? And I don't think there is a movie that doesn't spark a crazy theory from at least one.
I don't have one
for
this one. I don't have one.
Well, it might not be that far out there because of the movie, but I feel like Ryan's might be a little out there, but also maybe not.
Okay.
So I could have been wrong on this, but so it goes.
Okay. Daniel, what was your question?
Will there be an homage to another horror film? If so, then what?
Daniel, will there be an homage to another horror film?
If so, then what?
If so, then what?
I said Poltergeist, and I think there was. Okay. Is there a scene in Poltergeist where fruit rolls towards someone, or rolls in general? A chair.
I'm trying to think of the
it's a
kitchen
chair.
Scenes.
So
yeah,
is that would that work?
And then
would that work?
Carol Ann does a slide. That you could do that. You could also go with like E.T.
Oh, maybe E.T.'s what I was thinking.
The ball bouncing
because he rolls
Changeling.
the thing.
Changeling, moving fruit.
I might have been thinking of E.T. But those
Stephen King's The It, the moving.
Oddly
boat,
enough, both.
What else? The It.
Both Spielberg movies at the same time.
Have you guys seen The It?
It's the shit.
Yeah, those could be references, or I mean, they just kind of set the standard for generic.
You're generic.
Things that happen in hauntings and movies. No doubt about that. No doubt about
someone
that.
asked me. Okay. Someone asked me a pre-watch question.
You've already watched it.
Because I haven't. Well, it's fine. Pretend.
Okay, sure. Is this?
Or ask me anything.
Is this a
how long have you been awake today?
Considering it's
11 hours?
7:30.
Someone asked me how long I've been awake today.
13 hours.
I've been awake 20 minutes.
Awake today. Hey, I've been awake for about the same. Hey Ryan,
what's up?
Is this a believable situation for people to be in during this film's time period?
That's
for
really
his interpretation.
I mean,
where you don't think
my interpretation, even if you
don't
take
think
it
any
at face
spookums
value,
are happening.
that it is actually. I don't think it's happening. I could interpret it as none of it is happening outside of their own mind. But if you want to interpret it that there are there, and if other people had been in the house, they would have also seen it, then, I mean, either way, you still have refugees coming over from another country, going through the immigration asylum seeking process and being put up in a house. So, and then the house turns out to be a little bit spooky. I mean, that seems reasonable to me. I will say that the tagline to this movie, or if you go and look at the synopsis, it says something along the lines of an asylum-seeking couple moves into a British home and then discover like some kind of evil within the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that is not what's happening at all.
It's a little misleading on that. I mean, they did technically discover the evil while in that.
Well, they brought it,
but it
not
wasn't
in like
the
evil is them as immigrants, but like they brought the evil with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up, buddy. Well, I guess we don't need to do a synopsis now.
Well, no, I think
good.
You still do because that wasn't it. Oh my
Daniel,
God!
What's the synopsis, buddy?
I was gonna say I think Ryan kind of did the synopsis.
Yeah, but I got my own take. Bada 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 bing. Or hold on. Oh, he's big. He's red. His feet stick off the bed. Peter Crouch.
I don't understand what he
Daniel.
just did. Do you understand what he just did?
Did we watch the same movie?
Okay, I feel you. Soccer.
Look.
Yeah.
Okay, terrible. Married couple seeking asylum leaves war-torn African country to go South Sudan. Sure. To go live in the UK, and they get put up in a house, and then spookums begin. But is spookums real, or is spookums just past trauma expressing itself? Da-da-da.
We got like a hatching situation here.
A little bit.
Persona.
Yeah, did either of you watch the trailer before watching this? So, did you guys think you were gonna like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought it was gonna be.
I watched the trailer when it came out a long
kind
time
of movie.
ago, and I was gonna watch it, but then I guess I just never did.
And then you got high. Yeah, we understand.
Then you got high. Yeah, it had a lot of buzz when it first came out on Netflix. I had watched about half of it and then had to go do something else, and I enjoyed it. And then I just didn't get a chance to come back and finish it because, well, lots of shit on Netflix and other places, so I just kind of forgot about it. So I'm glad I finished it because, yeah, it's good.
Okay, pot over.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, good talk, everybody. Let's get into it. So that we get that couple coming from the South Sudan, immigrating over. They're getting interviewed in like a detention center type thing, which is already depressing. And they're basically telling them it's this small board of people in front of them. Our main couple of, I guess we should give them names. It follows our married couple of Bull and Riol.
Riol, yeah.
Who I've seen them both in things. So I was like, I recognize, especially Riol. She's been in a lot of things. So I was like, okay, cool. They're telling them like, okay, we might be getting you out of the detention center today if you're lucky. You'll be moved into a house. You have to stay in this house. You have to try to assimilate, like try to adapt into the culture there. And my first thought is like, oh, that's a fantastic, realistic plot device to keep them from moving out of a potentially.
So they're granted bail, not asylum.
Not yet.
Right, they're not green card citizens or anything
like that. They have to audition. They have to make sure that their quote, you have to be one of the good ones, unquote.
Well, that comes up later.
Yeah. So, but then we get Bull says to the board here, we are good people. And I said, you know what? I believe him.
However, okay, now here's the key. So a little bit to my theory. We should say this is happening in it looks like a gymnasium cafeteria.
It does.
Like some kind of high school that's been just taken over, or some old private school that had like on-site dormitories or something like that that's been repurposed for this. And the distance between Bull and Riol as they're doing this like exit interview, it's massive. Like they're almost all the way on opposite walls. So when Bull says something to like we're good people, one of the exit interviewer people says to him, whether you're good people or not, it's not us.
It's
that
themselves.
Needs convincing.
Ah.
Yes. Now I didn't get that at first. The first time when I heard that, I thought, oh, okay, this is how bureaucracy works. Look, guys, it's not me making the decision. It's the other guy. It's the other gal, a higher up. They're going to review your paperwork. This is just my job, my step in the process. I have really no say what happens. This is just where you are in the process, okay? Which is how I interpreted it at that time. But then at the end of the movie, when I thought about it, I'm thinking, oh, they have to convince themselves. Now, they don't just have to convince themselves that they want to live in Britain and not go back. They also have to convince themselves that it's okay they're alive. Because I think they've got some real like survivor's guilt going on.
Yeah.
As part of this trauma.
And as that unwraps, I mean, when we realize more of their trauma, there's reasons they feel the way they do in it. Look, okay, they get brought to the house, and we get this guy who's unlocking the door, and the camera pulls up, and it's Matt fucking Smith.
He's a Targaryen. No,
he's
not
a doctor.
Anymore. He's a Targaryen
Who?
Now.
No, he says it's Morbin time back to Morbius, I think.
Whatever, he's a Targaryen.
I haven't watched that yet. Matt Smith, fantastic, awesome. Very, very surprised to see him pop up in a random little Netflix horror flick. So yeah, I love when that happens because he's great. So he's showing him around this relatively decent size but obvious shithole apartment.
Yeah, everyone
they talk to that they try to complain to the house about was like, why are you complaining? The house is bigger than mine.
But they get there, it's like, oh, well, we didn't have time to get the cleaners in, and Matt Smith turns on a light and then it burns out. It's like, oh, well, we'll fix that. And you can open the windows and air it out. I know there's a bit of a smell. Now, the whole time they're doing this, and they're again mentioned how big the place was, he says, normally it's like a bunch of people put into one of these.
Then you're suspicious.
Houses,
why is this house just for them?
Right. So this is where my mind went, was, okay, maybe this is like a cabin in the woods situation where they have some sort of horrible spirit there. They know it, and they occasionally feed it sacrifices. And they know the people can't leave the house because of the immigration policy. But also, why bother fixing it up and shit? It's just a sacrifice house. So they would bring people in, and they would do their best to ignore all the shit that's going on and eventually be eaten by whatever, demon spirit lives there, and it appeases it. Then they can continue to, I don't know, subjugate the masses in that area, I guess.
My thought was when we got to the house was, okay, so we've got vulnerable people who, as a stipulation of not being detained anymore, have to stay in one location, and that location is this place, and it's being overseen by this guy. And I'm like, well, this is just ripe for abuse, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it?
Ain't it?
Nope.
Isn't it?
Nope. Isn't it? You tell right off the bat, Rial, she's already kind of suspicious of the whole thing. She doesn't seem comfortable. She doesn't seem enthused.
Well, I mean, there's rotting food in pizza boxes. There's trash. There's...
Right. It's not a good situation.
A couch on the lawn for some reason.
It's not a good situation, especially for, us who live in nicer places. But if we're to be under the impression that they're from a war-torn country, there's a good chance where they're staying at was maybe not even as good as that. If they're in one of the particularly bad areas. I mean, you got 4 walls and a roof, and you don't have bullets flying over your head all day. That's still probably an improvement, maybe.
That's what they put on the brochure to new immigrants as they walk in.
Be thankful for
we're not shooting at you all
crumbs
the time.
we give you.
In Britain, because they don't have guns.
We left pizza crumbs for you. What more do you want?
We left you a pizza.
So we're seeing Rial's all not, super feeling it. And then Bull, he's over there having some big emotions of happiness and joy. And I'm just like, man, don't make me feel emotional at the start of the movie. This isn't you don't want to have feelings? Because I'm like,
it ain't about me, man.
Like I said earlier, he's like, we're good people. And then he's there and he's so happy. And I'm like, oh, I'm happy you're happy, even though I wouldn't want to live there. But God,
I would take
good
free
for
housing.
you, man. Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, you can get rid of the bugs.
You can try.
What, in it?
In it.
At the beginning of the movie, we see a Bull carrying a child. And then during their exit interview, it's brought up that they lost their child a year ago or within the last year.
Yes.
So once we get to this house, Real has this this white doll, and there's this beaded hem at the bottom on the dress, and so she carefully takes off the beads and turns it into a necklace that she puts around her neck. And I'm like, oh no! Not only do we've got survivor's guilt, we've got the stress of being in a new country with a new culture, and we've lost our child. There's a lot going on.
And now we put cursed doll beads around your neck.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and later that's what Bull thinks as well. So, Bull might be us in this movie to an extent.
Bull is trying out of the gate, trying really hard to make this work.
Yeah, that's kind of my comments on those two is
he's throwing
really
his culture
on one side and she's really far off on the other.
It's gone.
And she'll even drag him later saying you're over there begging them, want to be like them so much. And he's just like, I'm not going back to the Sudan. And I think reality,
that's what I was thinking, because she is obsessed with keeping the culture And how long does it take her to leave the house? She doesn't even want to go outside.
I think maybe 2 days.
Yeah, because she has to go to the clinic for whatever reason. Probably part of the.
But they need to. You need to keep your culture, but also merge into the not total assimilation. You know.
But that's easier said than done when you're
people
like us with no culture. That house in it, oh god. So we the first like creepiness that happens with Vol, he's hearing like a noise or something, and then there's like this long narrow window, and underneath the narrow window is just this dark ass corner, and that's just the first of many where you just see that place is not lit well even after he gets the lights fixed. That house is creepy as fuck, and that's when I was like, you know what, we're gonna take a moment here, we're gonna have some honesty. I think I'm still a little bit uneasy with the dark. Like, Daniel, you ever go down to the basement and then you turn off the lights at the bottom when you're walking up the stairs?
No.
Do you walk with a bit more urgency?
I mean, there's a light switch at the top of the stairs, so I mean, I could turn it off from when I get up there, right? So I don't have to.
You could, but there's no adrenaline spike from doing that, though. You fucking flip that bottom switch.
Look, obviously, there's nothing down there, right? Because I was just there, right? But you know, I'm not turning. But
once you turn the light off,
that's
when it comes
out.
out.
What's going on? You know, I also haven't been down there in like a month. Look, someone could just be living down there.
Could be. I'm just saying, turn those lights off. Feel a little bit uneasy.
Well, we've stumbled upon something here that I don't think very many, if any, movies have covered, which is that the darkness is scary. No one ever talks about this.
You know, when like darkness falls, how scary it is.
You know what also is scary? Here's what's scary: seeing your dead daughter in the walls of your new house.
Look, I don't like that. Like, she should have stayed in the old walls where I left her.
They lost her at sea.
Right? Yeah.
She's becoming a burden.
They jacked her. Not enough room on that plank of wood for her, so she had to go.
Well, he came back and said maybe they both could have fit on that door.
Who cares?
Cameron did. I've still never watched that movie, so I don't. Before we move on to the wallpaper peeling
Kenny,
off.
That dark spot on the wall under the window, what comes out of it?
A bat? A bird?
No. Oh, God. Yeah, a black bird.
Yeah, I just remember
a blackbird just flies right
creepy.
out of it.
Yeah.
Bull's like, oh, strange country.
It is a strange country. I was also, though, I was thinking, so I was lost in thought. I was like, that's creepy. This whole house is creepy. And that's when I had this question that I was going to ask you, Ryan, specifically. Is this house creepier than your old apartment that you had, you know, in the home city?
Yeah, this place is much creepier. Like, my old apartment didn't have any holes in the walls. I never had a drowned daughter hanging out in my walls.
There was a door that led to like a cellar or something that you couldn't get open?
I eventually did get it opened because that's where the Wi-Fi
lived.
Transmitter was kept. Look, the only time I ever was worried was when Daniel came over and I told him, if you see anything crawling, raise your hand and I will come get you.
I don't know how you have bugs that are so terrifying.
Well,
that guests need a safari guide. Someone who's been through this bush before. Be like, it's all right. Just raise your hand.
Was that even the worst place you lived? You also had that one apartment that, if I recall, it flooded.
It flooded, but so all of my, late teen, early 20 apartments were fine. They were just usually in sketchy location. Although nothing ever bad happened on the street or to any of my neighbors or anything like that, but they tended to be in a more run-down part of the city.
Well,
because I was cheap.
True that. The first place you lived in, though, after I spent many time pounding those streets,
what?
You know, pounding the pavement, walking around those areas. I gotta tell you, a lot of shit happened over there all the time.
Look, the only thing that ever happened to me was when I was doing my laundry one time, kind of like, well, not like this movie, but while I was doing my laundry, someone tried to come in through the window because the laundry was a shared laundry room, but you needed like a key to get in. And I guess the people who lived in this laundry room was also the entrance hallway for another apartment. And these people had forgot their key. They're probably high. They all were. And were trying to get through the window and asking me to let them in. And I'm like, no, Mr. Wolf. That's not how this works.
And that's how you get shanked.
But then I had another neighbor who just knocked on my door because he thought I owned the whole place, asked if I wanted to pay him to shovel the snow off of the driveways. And I said, here's $20. Yes, please.
Yeah, and I do own this place. Unless you have any problems, then don't talk to me.
I don't own it, but I'd love you to shovel it because that is slippery.
And I'm delicate. Just like that delicate wallpaper that, slowly peeled.
You really want to talk about this wallpaper.
Okay,
now.
look, it was so dingy and dirty that wallpaper peeled down, and at first I thought they were implying that the wall was like fleshy.
Because there was a slime.
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't want to talk about it, so we don't have to talk about it. So
okay, good. Can we talk about how it was like peeling skin off the wall?
Yeah, it was. So just the wallpaper just slides down, and it's all fleshy, and then there's like a big hole.
There's more hole. No one has plastered up these holes. They just literally put wallpaper on them.
And you can't do that. That's not okay. Because look, one day you're gonna be getting hot and heavy, leaning against that wall after a workout, and your arm's gonna go right through that hole. Because wallpaper.
My arm's gonna go through it regardless. Because I'm a fucking tank.
What's he find in the wall?
Why is he yanking this cable?
Do you do a yank on a cable?
If you're
not
the electrician, I don't think you do a yank.
Bull, because we later find out that Bull worked at a bank, and he has a very confident signature. And yeah, but he's pretty handy. Like I got the feeling like this is not the first time he's had to like mess with wires and electricity.
I disagree because he cuts
lighting
himself.
And all that stuff.
Someone who would know to wear gloves.
Doesn't cut themselves.
How often do you not wear gloves in the bakery and then you have a reaction?
Well, I think I'm having a reaction to the gloves, honestly.
Oh,
yeah.
Time to change the gloves.
Oh, no, he's just building up his case for never having to wear condoms.
Well, that's a story for another time. It might be. It's a
prequel to the Gingerbread Man?
I'll
Ryan will remember
it's a story
this.
for never.
He starts yanking the cable out of the wall, and he keeps yanking, and he's yanking. We got this glorious shot of him yanking it out, but then the camera's also pointing behind him. And every time the camera points behind him, it seems to always get darker. This time, like a door opens.
Starts opening in the background.
And it's making a very loud noise. We, the audience, hear it. And I'm like, but he's so focused on yanking this crap out of the wall. It's like, how do you not hear that? And he's pulling, and slowly the cord starts turning into a rope. Big, thick rope, like a shipping rope. And then it starts getting like wet. You got some like sea roughage on it, and I'm thinking he's about to pull a whole damn pirate ship out of the wall because
that would have been
pulling
cool
for a long time. And then all of a sudden, that doll is on the rope, and he's like startled, and then a hand reaches out, grabs the doll, pulls it in, and when that's happening, there's also a guy, like an outline of a person kind of standing over his shoulder. And so hand comes out, grabs the doll, poof, he freaks out, turns, the guy was gone, right?
Yes.
So oh man, that's a good start to Spookums in a house, because holy crap, I was like, no, I don't like that.
That's a good start to Spookums, isn't it?
Yeah, I said that's her doll and that's his house, so you don't. No, I said let it go. I said, remember though, you need to make peace with this ghost because you can't leave.
That's true.
Yes, but he is, at least when Real is starting to, because Real at some point starts hearing things as well.
Yeah, they're having two different
experiences.
Yeah.
Yes, with what this is.
I still think though it's because of where she's at in her headspace. I mean, yeah, his was a little more aggressive for obvious reasons. We find out later, but I gotta say, if the tables were turned and so the ghost was like she was hearing like "Mama," right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I was hearing "Papa," I'm still noping the fuck out of there. I'm not being like, "Oh, it's my dead baby." Like, no, I gotta go. You had your shot.
Where are you going, Papa?
You had your shot.
You never taught me to swim, Papa.
Not my fault. I just got you recently.
Oh.
Very recently. So yeah, that's further like showing the two different mindsets they're in. I guess. Look, I'm not gonna pretend like I really know what the message in this movie is supposed to be, other than it sucks being an immigrant, and I think it should be easier for people to move to other countries because hey, we're all on this planet, man. But is this just trying to paint like two drastically different pictures of immigrants? Overly eager ones versus reluctant like refugees?
Daniel,
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm more surface level. I try to stay there, so I'm just seeing what you guys read out of this situation. What is the audience supposed to be finding here?
I think if you just do the surface level, it's what we've been talking about. Bull is even trying too hard to just to fit in, and Ariel is the more reluctant one and isn't not quite ready to let go. However, neither really is Bull. He's just he's making a bigger show about trying to make it work. But neither one of them have really accepted how they got here and everything that has happened to them in the process.
And acceptance is key, according to your theory.
Well, or acceptance that you're willing to deal with it. Because right now, I think Bull is especially Bull is pushing deep down, burying it.
Well,
he's shoving it.
He's pulling that rope. He's bringing it right back to the surface.
Well, that's just the human.
One might say compartmentalizing, even.
That's not okay. That's not even necessarily just the immigrant experience these days. That's the human condition. I mean, we're all just
almost like they're just people, you know.
They're just people, but that's not their house. That's his house.
That is definitely his house. Now the hauntings kind of escalate a bit with Bull and not Real, right? Because with Bull, we start getting people in more traditional like garb with clothing, full-on head masks, who seem to be who pop in and out of existence when he's in the living room, at least.
Yeah,
trying to spook them.
When they're in the dark, he's able to see them, and they're kind of more aggressive. They have a little more hostile energy, and like you said, Rial's is more, hey, we're kind of talking to you. I don't even know how many of the other ones she sees. We know she's seen
the daughter.
Right, we know she sees the daughter, but
and she's maybe seen a couple other ones, and I don't know what this scene means. So someone help me, because it's when he is being like full on grouped upon by a whole bunch of people who have come into the living room, and they've got him against a wall, and I think someone's got like a knife to his throat.
I think
it's
in
the dark, and then the light turns on by another spirit.
I thought it was the daughter.
Okay, no, so the daughter turned the light on.
I thought the daughter turned the light.
Yeah,
right.
Initially, so okay, he's gone through all the work. He went and bought tools to fix all these lights because he now knows the ghosts or whatever don't show up in the light. He sees a ghost. It looks more like a lady this time, kind of walking towards him. He freaks out a little bit, turns on the light, and then we get this fantastic bit where the footprints are showing up.
Yeah,
so she's still walking. It's
I like
still
this
there.
in movies.
So that's great. Like, the light didn't save you. The light's probably helping you see them. So then he starts getting ganged up on by him, and then his daughter, who's wearing this twisted ritualistic mask, flips the lights back on for him, and then I'm just like, oh, did the daughter just save him? So we got like one good ghost, maybe a bunch of bad ghosts, like maybe the daughter, and then she flips the lights back off.
It's a good prank, yeah.
Right? And then now they're all on top of him, and then I think that's when the daughter is on his back with the knife near his throat, and he's reaching for the light switch, and he finally gets it. And then light comes on, and then they're not on him anymore. So they play fast and loose with the rules on the light, because like we said, that one was still showing up, like walking around, having a presence with the light on, but as soon as he turned it on, they were no longer all on top of him.
So if you go with me that this is all in his head, then could this be he is projecting that since it was his responsibility to protect her and didn't do it, and so he's manifesting that as he's in danger, pretend he is his daughter, to protect himself, he turns on the light, but because in real life he wasn't able to protect her, she died, and that's just turn the lights back on because you failed to protect me, and now I'm consciously going to make a choice not to protect you.
I mean, sure, your theory has merit, or it could also just be a witch,
a night witch.
It could be the witch. Who wants to tell the story of what a night witch is?
It's called an apeth.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Sounds great. How do I get one?
You do something bad? Steal something. You steal something, right?
Yeah, I think you steal from it. Yes. And then what does it do after you steal from it?
Follows you wherever, right? And then basically haunts you. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what
that's it. Yep.
This is what Rial says is happening. So he's having his issues with the ghosts, but he's still the one actually going out into the world. Like, he goes and buys tools, which I was.
They only get 74 pounds a week.
Tools, which I don't know how much that is in American.
$74.
Anyway, so he's out there. He's somewhat. I mean, you don't see him really interacting with people, but he's somewhat doing some things out there. She does finally leave the house to go to the doctor's office. She's got a little map that Matt Smith drew her. She gets lost. She tries to... First, I see those neck beads, again, like prominently shown on her, like the necklace. And I'm like, ooh, those are really going to come into play. Like, they're making sure those are well shot. So there's another scrotum's neck bead. Then there was a dog barking, and you see that kid, like, kicking around the corner, and I thought he was kicking the dog. He was kicking a soccer ball, so it's fine. And then she she's lost in this like labyrinth like type maze of just the neighborhood, like these plain white walls that were like a little bit taller than her head, and she can't find where she's going. She's lost in this new world, and then she finds 3 young like black British youths, and she's like, okay, I'll go ask them directions, and they're just horrible to her. They make fun of her accent, tell her to go back to Africa, and so she does end up finding her way to the doctor, and then the doctor lady's being all really nice.
Before that though, she stumbles across the same kid with soccer ball, but in a different spot.
Yeah, that's when she's going through that labyrinth maze, and that's when I put down the note that there needed to be a worm.
Don't go that way.
Said, don't go that way. If she'd gone that way, she'd ended up riding the doctor. But yeah, so she lost in this new world. People treating her like shit. But then she gets to the doctor's office with the nice doctor lady, and she's being very, very nice. She steps in at once when she mentions like, oh yeah, we should get your daughter checked out, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh yeah, no, daughter's dead. And Rial's just kind of very short with the doctor. It's like, yeah, you're not really trying. Like, yeah, okay, those kids were assholes, but now you're taking it out on the doctor lady. Like, that's not great. And then she gets home, and then right outside their front window is some young girl, like, pissing on their property wall. And it's like, she did not have a great day out. So this is not going to help her want to be part of this area, part of this culture. Like, that segment, they should have, like, brought up a title card, said, this is, you know,
no good, very bad day.
No good, very bad day. Because that was a no good, very bad day.
Yeah.
And that's when, did the bag of fruit fall for her and the apple roll in the wall?
Peach.
I think it was on her. Peach, and it goes rolling, and then, like, a voice comes out, something like, follow the fruit, or...
I didn't catch that.
I think there was a voice that said something about following the fruit, or maybe
you probably said don't follow the fruit. I think the voice said something in a language I don't understand.
What was the language?
I don't know.
It was like Dinku or something.
You tell me.
I had the subtitles on. It was telling me what it was.
Dinka.
At the when she's at the doctor, she gives the story of how there are 2 tribes and they're killing each other. So she marked herself with the symbols of both tribes, so that now she can survive by belonging to nowhere.
Yeah, bold choice.
Now we've seen the daughter at this point, and we've seen the husband. So I was wondering if we could have figured something out early on by looking at their tribal marks to see if the daughter has different markings than the husband.
Well, okay, so which one did Bull have? Was it the ones on the side of the face, or did he have the arm? Or was the logo?
This is something I would have looked at if I had watched it again.
Or it's just I don't know like the exact rules and the markings for the tribes, so that is something we could look for. Because she had the ones on her face by her eyes, and then she had the one on her arm that she did herself. And I don't know if the location actually matters, but yeah, that's a good point. We could have looked for that. I don't know how young they mark them either, but she said she had those ones on her face since she was a kid, so we can assume that was her original tribe. But either way, I don't think either one of those tribes would recommend following the fruit into the hole.
I don't know, maybe.
But if you only get 70 pounds
$80,
a week, which is, we probably guess is like $10 American, $80. All the fruit's important. You need all the fruit.
Scurvy is a danger, especially when you drive across the sea.
They have a Bull gets home, and she has home. Rial has a nice dinner spread set out on a blanket on the floor, like it looks like a traditional meal, and he's kind of like excited about it, and it's like, oh well, next time we can do this at the table, because well, that's assimilating. And then he runs off excitedly as she's already eating more traditionally, like grabbing the bread, dipping the bread in the meat and the sauce, eating it, which is how I prefer it, and it comes running back excited with a fork and knife, and he's just like, he's aggressively eating at it, like so excited to be using the knife and fork, and she's like, I can taste the metal. And I'm like, man, do I taste the metal? And I took a bite, and I'm like,
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Taste the metal.
Something you ever thought about.
For me.
You don't think about it.
You don't think about it until it's brought up.
Yeah, so like,
However, if you will start eating with like bamboo chopsticks and then you pick up a metal fork, you're like, oh, you notice it then. You just have to go on a special utensils diet for a while.
Just eat utensils.
Or you just eat utensils. Some are made of corn. They're very, very healthy.
Good, we could eat them.
And at this point, he's talking about, this is a good place. We can make a home here. We can even start a family. And I'm like, oh, you cold-hearted prick.
Yeah, like, you didn't even say
start a family. It's not again, so.
Well, I know, but yeah, at the time, you don't know that. You're like, you are just, what happened to your daughter in the walls?
Well, there could be a witch. That's kind of when we start establishing there could be a witch.
Could be a witch.
And then
we're left with the assumption that he has stolen something, but we don't.
I was like, what did he steal?
What it is.
Right, because what
did he steal?
She calls his ass out. She's saying, I forget exactly how she words it, but she's basically saying, like, this isn't our home. Like, we probably need to go back, and something's happening here, blah, 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 blah. And he goes on a rant, like, no, nothing's happening.
Well, she's been talking to the Night Witch, and the Night Witch told her to be afraid of him.
Right, and she also tells him straight up, see, I know you're lying. You've seen it too. So it's like, this is a wife who knows her husband, who sees it in his eyes, like, no, you're full of shit.
Oh, God, it's oh my God. When she just says, you're a liar.
That's,
called
his ass out. Called his ass out.
Where's this gonna go? Have we mentioned the point where something we have is cursed? So we start burning everything.
Yeah, that's after that. That's like because he has his moment that night where there's more creepy ass ghosts, and I just had to comment like, I didn't like that because something freaked me out a little bit. And then he nopes the fuck out of the house. So, like, he runs. What was it that finally got to him to just leave the house? Fuck, what was it? It was more of the creepy. Did he finally see the big guy? Because there is a specific, like, bigger.
There is this point where he's at the table, closes his eyes, and then the camera pulls back, and now we see that he's on there's a sunset or something in the background, and we're now on water, on the ocean.
It was gorgeous.
What is this?
Yeah, they keep.
Oh my God! Yes.
Both of them periodically keep going in these weird trances. Yeah, that one's a little later because that's the next dinner scene. That's when they are actually at the table. So this one, like, some more spookums happen in the night, and he nopes the fuck out. He runs outside the house, which I think is hilarious. Didn't even holler at his wife or anything to tell her, "Hey, get the fuck out." And then you got this old white lady smoking her cig next to her cat up in the window, just like staring
at him.
That's our culture. That's our culture. Creepy cat lady neighbor.
So the people in this neighborhood, very unsupportive of having
I don't think that's necessarily
asylum
true.
seekers living there.
The kids definitely were not supportive.
The
kids were supportive. Guy. The lady said,
no, you're just
going
to
kick you out anyway.
The bad
now
people instead of the good.
Once they get out of the neighborhood into
because when he walks by the church and the guy's like, "Hey, you one of them immigrants?" I thought that guy was gonna tell him to fuck off, but instead he invited him in and gave him some shit and watched soccer with him.
Yeah, and I mean Matt Smith's character, Mark, kind of goes out of his way to
he's one of the
cover
good
up
ones.
he works. He's one of the good ones.
I thought he was gonna turn into be a villain, but it seems like he's tired. I'm gonna say the whole place is under-resourced, and
it wasn't his first career choice. He said
before
he used to also work in a bank.
Before they sent those jobs overseas, and the husband worked at a bank.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm like, interesting.
So like he's there for a paycheck, but he also ends up growing. He has a hard time separating the paycheck from having a heart caring. Which I think if you take those jobs, you need to care a little bit.
Yeah. At this point, in the movie, I'm still thinking that it is something actual evil about the community that's happening, and I get the character Mark is in on it too, because when he's saying, you can report these, because at some point Bull goes in and says, we need to move. I need a different house.
Yes, there's something.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the house. And Mark is trying to get him to explain, like, we can report this, but it's not going to look good for you. It's going to look like you're not fitting in. It's going to look like you're not assimilating. Like all these very negative things that are going to affect his ability to stay in the country.
Right.
And it's like, so these are subtle threats if you try to leave this house.
We think they're subtle threats, but in reality he is being honest with them. Like, this is not going to look good. I want you to not get sent away. So if you have a legitimate reason, like, please give me one so we can do, like, you got rats? Like, okay, sure, we can work with that. I'll live anywhere. So it's not about the rats. So so back up to his freak out when he runs outside and the creepy cat lady's up there. That's when it's like he has the epiphany that we brought the curse with us. So that's when he gathers up everything they brought over with them, runs it out, immediately gets a fire started, which is impressive to get that fire started that quick. And then that's when Riol's standing there and he notices the necklace, and she's already upset, like, hey, that's my dad's, burning some of that stuff. Then he tears off the necklace and she's like, no, let me keep something. And he looks at her, and then you just hear the necklace drop into the fire. And I'm like, oh, that marriage is over.
It's intense. It's like God.
Yeah, and then he goes out immediately.
I mean, however, we have seen horror movies.
A few.
Is he not right?
Oh, he's 100%
burning all of everything.
He's 100% right. Well, potentially.
If just one of those, if you think you have brought the curse on a fetish, on an item with you, and you're just gonna let your wife walk around with the cursed item on her neck.
The next morning he runs out because his clothes are all fucked now because he burned all of them. So he's running out and he goes to like a nice little store. You guys notice as soon as he walked in the store, that white guard just stopped what he was doing and immediately followed him over there. I love that they don't even do anything with it. They just show that real quick.
Just a normal part of life.
And then he's over there sizing up this polo and these chinos because he sees the guy on the wall wearing them. He's like, okay, so that's
he sees the clothing model of the nuclear family. You know, the typical British dad. He's got these clothes on, which are the same ones on the rack, and he's like, yep, this I put this on, I become this, no problem.
Yep, yeah, I'll be that. And it cuts back to them back at the house. And now he's like laying on the ground. He's got every one of his tools laying across the floor, and I fucking love that. He's still like working on the wall, the holes and stuff, like the bigger ones, because he was fixing all the electricity because all the lights were out, if you recall. And that's when he cuts himself again or something because he gets blood on his new polo at some point.
That is from he does.
Yeah, but then he's going around turning on all the lights now that he's got them all fixed or something, and you hear Rial talking to something, and she's sitting alone in the kitchen. So now she's crazy talking in the dark.
Crazy Talking in the Dark, the name of my autobiography.
I don't like that. That's a solid name.
That's a good title.
Or like a good like random like pop punk band song, because it would make, it doesn't have to make any sense. And then they have that dinner again, and then they're still kind of fighting. That's when he goes in the trance that you're talking about, that beautiful scene where it pulls out and he's in the water. So we're seeing like his stuff seems to be all based around the water, and we know that they lost their daughter. At this point, do we realize that she drowned? No.
Oh yeah, we know she drowned. I mean, we've put that together.
And that it's his fault. This is also where Rial basically says, yes, the ghost told me, or the witch told me, you're dangerous, I shouldn't trust you. And I say, do you ever trust a ghost or a witch over your partner?
Well, the ghost I can't remember if it's at this point, but is telling her if he repays the debt, they can get their daughter
back.
They can get Nyagak back. And I'm like, no, this is Monkey Paw. No.
Yeah.
This is Pet Cemetery. No, you don't know. This is not going to turn out okay.
At this point, I thought it was going to lead to like he cuts himself. It's going to be a possession type thing.
Ooh.
Like you opened yourself up. Now I can get in you and like, haha, yeah, you didn't get your daughter back. You got me.
I thought it was going to turn into a situation of you get her back by also dying and going to join her.
Yeah, that's another, yeah, sure.
But then Mark and the office gang come on by to check on them rats in the walls, and they see all these holes in the walls, and you can hear the silent muttering, like they shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
to the walls, right? This is we're gonna have to report this. I mean,
because Bull took the hammer on one of his freak out nights and busted more holes all over the wall. He scraped off all the wallpaper. He has done some damage.
It's just a bit of a home improvement.
It's his house.
No problem.
Yeah, but Mark, it's his house.
It's his house.
It is his house. Mark, Bull's telling Mark, like, we're good people. I'll fix it. I will fix this.
So rats, and then Real's coming in like, there's a witch in this house.
Yeah, she just goes, there's a witch.
I love you.
Yes.
Did he tell you about the witch?
No bullshit. I love it.
It's like,
did he tell you about the witch?
I was waiting for him to be like, don't bring up the witch woman.
Also, she's dressed in like
God,
so good.
Traditional clothing when she talks to them.
Yeah, and then makes a comment that she's wearing the bed
rude
sheets.
Right. They think this is a sign that she's not
assimilating.
What is the word? They keep using the word assimilating. Yeah.
I think they
we
did.
keep using that. Might not be what they use, but
for me, it's assimilation is always bad.
Adapting or
these people are fucking bored.
Simulation's bad. Well, now they got to write down that there's a witch in their report. That's a lot of paperwork.
I mean, what do you file that under?
Right. So look.
Shit, you cracked it.
Yeah, Matt Smith, Mark, basically it's like, look, like, okay, hey, don't take pictures of this, man. Like, stop. Stop.
He seems like he's trying to.
Yeah, that was the
give them a.
Yeah,
yes,
that was the first trip there when he had the one guy with him. The holes were still on the wall. When the two other people came with him, he'd already plastered the holes back up, but the wallpaper wasn't back up.
That's
right.
right.
We got those kind of cross up. That's fine. But yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, but he's trying to like keep it like still trying to give them a chance to make this.
Yeah, he's trying to hold it all together.
He's
doing what he can. It doesn't help that Rial is kind of feeding into the witch. So after the two people leave with Mark, Matt Smith's character, he runs out and grabs the tools and he starts like fixing all the windows and doors and stuff, but it's like he's putting locks and taking off the handles. Like at this point it seems like he's trapping Rial in the house.
Because Real has said she wants to leave.
Right, she doesn't want to stay here.
We're not staying here anymore. And he's adamant there's no witch, or I don't know if he's agreed if there's no witch or not, but this is our house. We're not leaving. You're not leaving. Nailing windows shut, knocking the handles off the door.
Right, but now he can't leave either.
Not leave.
Y'all are going to need food at some point.
That's fine.
But...
No, they got that fruit basket's going to last.
It's going to last. Now, at this point, though, he's kind of resigned to what's happening a little bit.
Yeah.
He tells her, I'm going to face this. He tells her, like, go away, whatever. Lets her go away. He sits down on the couch. He lights a candle in the middle of the room, right? And then no, this isn't where he slices his hand open, but he does sit there and he waits for it. He says, like, come talk to me.
Yes. He's inviting it in.
Yeah. And so he's on the couch and he goes off into a little trance. And we see, why do I got a note here that says something about you're just a bag of tricks and then fucking Lucky Charms?
Did you get a commercial on Netflix?
Maybe. No, there was a reason. But I don't remember what it was. But I do remember we get the shot of the daughter again, and then she has a squid coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then we cut. So, yeah, he's seeing all these horrific images and stuff. And then we cut back out, and Rial sees him on the couch, and he's there, like, in a trance, like, eyes wide open, mouth open, and he's just pissing his pants.
He's catatonic, almost, basically.
He's gone. Yeah.
And is it at this point that she goes to sleep and then has her wake up?
No, she thinks she leaves the house.
And it does that transition into
yeah, it was in a trance. She starts fixing the door.
Courtyard.
Yeah, and then it's like she runs into someone she knows.
Well, the lighting is immediately different.
What are the odds of...
You no longer have that
brighter,
dim,
warmer,
British light that you see so often and everything. Now you've got this bright...
That's how we portray
Now you've got this
England
bright African sunlight.
Because it's supposed to be invoking a good memory.
Well, this one's a good memory. One later is not a good memory.
Yeah. Well, she's surrounded by the women of her tribe, whatever one she's, actually a part of, and they're confident, they're talking to her, and then she says something about her daughter or something, and they're saying...
You don't have a daughter.
You don't have a daughter?
What daughter?
Yeah, what daughter? And she's sitting there...
Don't have a daughter.
She's crying, having her moment, and it's all traumatic. We're like, what do you mean she doesn't have a daughter? They had a daughter. And then she comes out of her state, and it turns out she was in a cabinet.
The other tribe came over and just massacred everyone.
It looked like
this was like a school. This felt like a school.
And I at first,
yeah, and they maybe they were teachers in this school or it was something. But whatever, this tribe went in. She somehow hid in this cabinet. They shot everybody else and then just started looting it. And then Bull, when it's over, comes in, finds her, and is doing his best to tell her it's okay, just follow me, just walk this way. And then the camera pans up, and all the women she had been sitting with are now... It's like in The Shining where you see the twin girls alive, but then the camera cuts for a second and you see their actual dead bodies.
Yeah.
In the hallway. We see all the women in this school just shot up dead in this one classroom.
Yeah. Now for a split second, because I was like, this wasn't as jarring a transition to say like, Barbarian, where it's like clear this is something different. To me, like, yeah, the lighting was different, but it was still kind of smooth. I was just taking it as like, we just went from this creepy inside the house to now we're outside, it's lit, it's safe. And then we roll and like, okay.
I thought the first thing
a little odd, but
was like a vision of her in the group of the people talking about how she doesn't have a daughter, and then this next thing is a memory.
Right. Well, for a split second there, I was kind of off balance for a second there. For a split second, I thought, like, did she kill all these people? Like, did she go into a trance and go have a murder? But then how did she murder all these people? And I was like, oh, no, those are the same ladies in the school and stuff. Because I was like, oh, no, she really lost it. But no. So, look, I don't think they came from a very happy place. And then I go, oh shit, they took someone's kid. We get the next flashback. Is that still within hers, or is that Bowles?
At this point,
they're kind of merged.
I feel like their flashbacks are merging. Yeah, Daniel, they're merging.
A shared dream. So we get a crowded bus that's trying to leave the sedan, and they're saying we only have room for children, or you can only come if you've got children.
Something like that.
And Bowles like, well, fuck. And he looks down and he sees this girl, and he picks her up. It's like, she's a child. And they're like, oh, well, fuck. So they get on the thing, and the girl's just sitting on his lap, and then she starts screaming for her mom, and her mom's outside outside the bus screaming like, "Mom, Mom!" It's like, what the fuck? He just grabbed a kid, used that as a boarding pass.
Pretty
quick,
quick.
The bus starts driving away, and then we start hearing the gunshots.
Yep.
So
the fact that the girl didn't start freaking out earlier, like where was the girl's mom initially?
I think this is a morally gray action because he just saved
stole
that
someone's kid. That was a consequence of his action.
No, it doesn't matter why he did it.
That wasn't his purpose. That wasn't his intent. Now the results.
The reason for doing it is
keep that child.
Yeah, the reason for doing it is not morally
fight.
gray.
Yes,
that's bad. But the result,
the outcome at that moment.
It's in
the end, because
if the mother could have made her way up there, she could have been like, "Yeah, me and my daughter will get on there." Bull should have been there to take a bullet.
It's also on that mother for not teaching her daughter how to swim.
Yeah, so we steal a child as our golden
got a golden ticket.
We somehow get from the bus to the back of a pickup truck. At this point, Rial's got her hands on the child, and the child's still obviously upset. Rial says, "I will protect you. I will take care of you." Like Rial had no say in this whole thing.
She could have said, "Put that fucking gross kid back."
Situation. Well, it seemed like she might have already been on the bus because she wasn't sitting.
Was she already on the bus?
Yeah.
The kid?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And put the kid back. Drop the kid off and let her get shot.
Well, you guys were against taking the kid, but now you're like, "Oh, don't take the kid."
Look, she's already on the bus now.
I'm saying it's complicated.
She's already on the bus now. This is a real, who does the Tesla run over situation. All of them. Yeah. So now she's wanting to take responsibility for it, but in reality, it's his responsibility. They say it's their daughter. Then they get on the ship to start crossing over. It's a tiny, we say ship, it's a boat. They're trying to cross the open sea in just a small little boat, overcrowded with people. They hit rough waters. I'm guessing the boat sinks, and they get picked up by some other boat and
some Coast Guard kind of deal. I think.
Yeah, and they're not able to get the daughter to the boat.
Well, they weren't anywhere near her.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much they really tried.
Yeah, that's kind of the
It sounds like he didn't try.
That's where a lot of this guilt is coming from.
Which that's when I said, wait, he's not a good person.
He lied to me.
Remember at the beginning of the episode when I said I believe he is a good person?
Yeah.
He's not a good person. He said it, and I believed
he said
it,
we're good
and
people.
He lied to me, and I'm like, well, so collectively she's good enough to make up for my.
They are good people. They're just in a really terrible set of circumstances that they're about to get shot. Do you A, get shot, or do you B, take someone else's kid and get on a bus?
Look, I'm probably taking that kid.
Now, if Nyagak's mother had been next to her and he punches mother out and then takes the
kid,
different situation. But this one, I think the movie keeps it gray so that it's not
they could have
100% against what he did.
They could have tried a different tactic. He could have been like, Rial's pregnant.
Yeah, right. Good luck with that.
Maybe. I don't know. He's not a good person.
So this is what he has stolen. This is what the witch has basically come to repay. The debt repaid.
He is
basically
he's stolen a life. He let that life also die. Yeah. The wanting comes in waves. So the witch.
Ooh, one more thing. We'll go back and then we'll move forward. When she is telling the story of the Apeth, the witch ghost.
Yeah.
The lighting in the living room. It is this golden warm light that almost, I think there are candles even that make it flicker, and so it's like she's telling a story around a campfire.
No,
it was beautiful.
They play with the lighting in this a lot, and it's fantastic. Whether it's just how they particularly light a room, or when anytime something spooky's about to happen, they purposely start pulling away the light. The light is a major player in this movie. It's a very well done movie, I think. Which again, that's again why we got into the situation where we don't necessarily have a lot of notes because you just get stuck.
I hate that when you watch a movie.
When you watch a movie, so Rial is now shown a knife in her vision. You pay it back for him.
Yeah, and then you get your daughter.
And he's sitting back in the kitchen, I think, and she goes in there and she sees the knife that she just was shown in her vision. And then she stands up and moves over by the knife, but then she hears a rattle. She's not looking directly at it, and she turns around. Now he has the knife.
At this point, I thought this was going to go a different way.
You thought he was going to attack her?
I thought he had gone insane, and it was going to be a kill her, kill himself, and now they're reunited with Nyagak.
Yeah, it's I definitely feel like he cracked completely first. Like she was already kind of over there, but he went all the way over there. So he slices open his hand. I'm just like, I don't feel bad. Maybe you shouldn't have done a kidnap. And this is when I thought, okay, he's gonna get possessed. But what happens when he slices his hand open and starts bleeding on the floor? He tells Rial to run, right? Like, okay, get out. The ground underneath him, like the house starts kind of shaking. The ground beneath him, like the floor starts to kind of erupt up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what comes out of it, Ryan?
The night
Big ol' witch.
Big old witch. Yeah,
played by
Javier Botet, who it's funny. I looked at his thing. He's another one of those like creature actors. It looks like kind of like Doug Jones.
He's not a creature.
Oh, okay.
Who is an actor. He is an actor who specializes in playing creatures. Just to be clear.
Right. So he played some.
Don't you limit this creature's ability?
Some notable things that he has been. He was the hobo and the witch in It, the remakes.
Oh, okay.
Slender Man and the Slender Nana.
I want to watch
movie.
the Slender Nana movie.
Slender Nana beard.
Nana.
He was Keyface in Insidious: The Last Key. He was an uncredited xenomorph at one point in Alien Covenant. But more importantly, so the whole time I was thinking when this was his house, I kept going back to The Conjuring 2, where the main ghost in the Einfeld haunting kept yelling like, "My house, my house." He played the Crooked Man in The Conjuring 2. So that was just a nice little tie back to that movie in my head with this actor. But I didn't realize that this guy was so prominent. Like, his list is substantial. We have seen him in a lot of places without realizing it.
He's behind me right now, and I don't even realize it.
Don't even realize it. So, yeah, the witch comes out, and what's he do to us?
How do you feel? I don't think I've seen this before, where the witch comes out and is now putting its hand under Bull's skin and is just trying to like almost, is it gonna wear him as a skin suit?
It seems like in a very violent
Is that where this is going?
That's why I was still thinking possession.
This is gross.
But is that where it went?
That's where it's going. And then, so the lighting in the kitchen where this is going on is different from the lighting when you see it from Rial's perspective when she has left the kitchen and is now looking into the living room, because in the living room she now sees their abducted daughter who's appearing.
Daughter.
And
okay.
daughter. Yeah.
Okay. And so this is now where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is reality, either one of them. But she basically, what does she say to her?
I don't remember what she says, but I remember what she ends up doing.
Sure. It's something to the effect of, sorry, but nah.
sorry, but nah.
My man.
Sorry, but nah.
And then so she turns around.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
She goes, that's a no.
That's going to be a no for me.
Like,
this is a hard
We can have another one. You weren't even on.
To be honest, I would have picked a different name.
I don't know why you came with us.
If you were going to whine the whole trip.
Time, you should have stayed. I didn't know. I told you to put on your floaties.
That's on you.
How the turntables.
How the knife slits the witch's throat. I did not predict that one.
See that. I thought Rial was so done with Bull, but Rial comes in there and gets behind the witch and just slits the witch's throat. Beautiful. But
I'm okay.
We're still
I'm trying to make this work in my this is all in their head. This is all just trauma that they're not dealing with. But now their traumas have merged into one. They're having it, and now they're both dealing with it together.
Yeah,
in some way. And this is what's going to, because before they were dealing with all of this separately. He was doing it I'm going to over assimilate, and she's, no, I'm holding on to my own culture way, and they're not, like Daniel was saying, they're not coming together.
Right.
And this is the point where they're coming together by slitting a witch.
Oh, now, I guess it's worth pointing out.
Here's my thing is, I
bring the cultures together. You bring that witch over from your previous culture. You bring that metal knife from this new culture. Kill that witch with the metal knife.
Now your culture's dead.
There you go.
So I was also still not entirely convinced of what happened. I thought there was still an element of this whole thing to their head. I thought we were going to pan out and the camera was going to show us that they just killed Matt Smith's character. Like he was, he showed up to help them or something, but they were having these visions. And like he was there we were going to get one of those things where they killed him and then we pull back, rewind, and we see what was actually happening. We were getting a fake, a a false narrator.
Right. Because instead of the witch putting its hand into the skin, it would have been Mark's character like reaching down maybe to stop the bleeding or trying to hold. Oh my God, that would have been. That would have made. Look, I can rewatch this movie now. If that had happened, I don't think I could.
Yeah, that's
I'd be too sad.
Yeah, that's the ending I liked. I liked my ending better. That's not always the case, but
it's darker.
I liked my ending better because there's still, she killed it, and I'm like, they're probably still gonna get kicked out of this house. But they put a little rug over the floor, cover the hole,
to cover the blood, maybe the hole, or the hole.
Is there an actual hole or the blood,
or the blood from the witch? And I'm like, it's yeah.
Then they got to show off the house again. Like, yep, we're good people. This is our house. This is our home. And then the immigration people leave again, and then we see that they're there with their daughter, but then they're also there with all these other ghosts still. Like, they've accepted we all live in this house.
It's not that you shut it out. It's you gradually
learn to live with it.
Learn how to live with it, because it's when you try to shut them into the walls. This is what happens. That's why I think this entire movie is just about their trauma, and it's all in their head.
You say that's a happy ending. I don't think mental.
I think this is a happy.
I don't think mental. I don't think mental illness is a happy ending.
They're not dead, and they have a new resolve, I think, to work together to try to make this the best outcome they can.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say this movie not depicting the immigration asylum department the best. You have asylum seekers from a country in the midst of a war. Obviously, they've seen some atrocities. They just crossed a body of water where a lot of them drowned. They've said their daughter drowned, and no one's there in their home language to speak with them. There's no counseling provided. No, none of these things, which might actually help.
I mean, I think that's a global issue.
So the real horror of this movie was not the ghosts or the trauma. It was just the whole immigration process.
Definitely not a universally positive one. It's better than being shot at in the Sudan, I guess. But not if you're acquiring children to make it happen.
This movie, we get the interesting moral question that we can discuss. Have there been any other movies we watched so far where we've had that?
Like a morally gray thing?
Strong moral gray area where we're like, let's have
I don't think anything's given us a geopolitical
about
conversation.
Civil wars, fleeing your country, asylum seeking. Is it okay to abduct a child if their mother isn't around
have come
and
up
use
in,
them?
Santa Jaws?
Oh.
Just kidding.
That's a good movie. This is the most, I don't know, real situation where not all the horrors that the people are dealing with are at all far-fetched.
Right. Yes.
If you take away all the ghosts and stuff and you just put them in this situation, you could have had a very straight drama just around them trying to assimilate after leaving there and dealing with the loss of a kid on a journey. It could have been a whole other story that still would have been in its own way fucking terrifying.
That's right.
The rest of them, we don't have a lot of gray areas in some of the stuff we've watched. We've got good guys, we've got bad guys. We've got, I feel less bad after watching this than the other two movies I referenced earlier, are Hatching and The Innocents, where I came out of those
yes.
yeah, this is depressing. Some more people probably should have died in one of them, but this is the only one where it's can't not talk about it. 6.5 on IMDb. Where do you guys put it?
Can I be honest? I've never known what these ratings actually mean.
It's a 6.5 stars out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. I think I'm going to pull up either I enjoyed it or I didn't.
Okay.
Some things you'll enjoy more, but you can get that from the conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know that it's something I'll watch again anytime soon, but I think I will watch it again just because the early on elements dealing with the ghosts and whatnot were very nicely, creepily done. I enjoyed that. But the overall story, it makes me sad to think about. So
if you want to get really sad, because what this movie made me do was get on Wikipedia and then start looking at the Sudan. Oh,
you mean that's not fiction?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, oh, I'm like, oh, it's okay. Now that I've read all of it, I can watch this movie again and be like,
you would abduct a child to get out of that.
You would absolutely.
Well, in the show notes, the trivia, the director Remy Weeks, which is his first feature-length film, said while researching the screenplay, he was struck by how many immigrants were sold on coming to the UK because it's the land of Charles Dickens, Jane Austen, and the royal family. In reality, for immigrants, it's gray concrete housing estates in deprived areas, and that's what he wanted to visually bring to the film.
So wait,
he did.
They want to
accomplished.
They want to go there because they like Jane Austen
and Charles Dickens, dog.
The romance of the romance of it, Daniel. And I'm like, oh, but what do you have?
Breckers.
And they're like, we got beer,
we got Crocs,
we got football,
we got Crocs.
They got Crocs,
got goblins.
Like, it's the land of Harry Potter.
Oh my lord, that's horrible.
Kinney, based on this movie, what would you recommend other people check out?
So, if you like the very real situation of something,
if you like the very real, terrible situation that's happening in the Sudan,
yeah, right.
Or other places in the world.
But you also like the idea that okay, how much of this is in your head? There's some spookums going on. For me, it's Babadook. Babadook. You got tough situation between mother and child, and maybe there's a spookums going on, maybe there's not. Daniel, anything?
Nope. I can't really think of anything.
You got anything off the top of your head, Ryan?
The Others.
Yeah, The Others is good.
And Tale of Two Sisters.
Tale of Two Sisters a lot.
Tale of Two Sisters, because he wants you to watch it.
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
Yeah, we had this discussion.
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
I would even consider another one you can quickly watch on Netflix. They show it on the bottom here of the IMDb page. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Gerald's Game.
Gerald's
Game?
Can
I recommend The Wailing just because?
Oh, this movie's so good. Yeah, that's just a good movie.
I killed a deer.
Yeah.
Murdered it. Hey, folks. You and I both know that you're sad that this episode is about to be over, and you want more. But don't worry, we're going to bring you more in 2 weeks with our next episode, the My Bloody Valentine remake. So grab your loved one, get ready for Valentine's Day in July, and, come get romantic with us, I guess, and your family, because you told them, and your friends, because you all want to come spread the word, spread the gospel, so to speak, of our good show. Tell everyone. Okay, thanks. Okay, let's get out of his house, fellas. I don't think we were invited. You might try to take our children. So yeah, everyone, let's go try to have a happier day. Less spookums. No holes in the walls.
Patch those holes up.
Patch those holes up. As always, I'm good people.
I'm also one
Kenny.
of the good ones, Daniel.
I'm big. I'm red. My feet stick off the bed. I'm Ryan.
He's real proud of it.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.